Alright guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'm having a quick discussion about what should actually happen to the classic WoW servers when the Burning Crusade is released. I should clarify that Burning Crusade isn't 100% confirmed to release, but it's like 99.9% confirmed, so that's something to bear in mind. But what I'm essentially talking about is, if you look at the questionnaire, the TBC questionnaire that has been essentially leaked, there is one of the questions is to give people an option to transfer the character to a level 60 server where it's just capped to level 60, that doesn't progress into the Burning Crusade. So obviously there is a number of people out there who would just not want to play the Burning Crusade and would rather just continue playing their classic WoW character forever, doing battlegrounds, doing raids and doing whatever the hell they want to do. The only issue I can really see with these servers is population. I think eventually servers like this will become more of an apocalyptic, slowly dying server, and obviously that could be a massive issue because people playing those servers would obviously want to queue into battlegrounds, but over time, you know, the battleground queues get bigger and bigger to the point where the server may become totally unplayable. I think to fix that issue, although it seems like kind of a drastic issue, and I know a lot of people have, you know, a massive issue with it, but I would, if I was going to do it personally, I would turn the server into more of a tournament style server, where people can very quickly make a character and get caught up to the point of endgame to experience the endgame content. Obviously, some tournament servers have instant level 60 with some starter gear. I don't think that is necessarily the way to go. I was thinking maybe introducing a system where you can make a new character, it starts at level 50, it has all the spell training costs reduced, you get a 60% mount free, but you have to save up for the epic mount, and there's just a way for you to very quickly catch up to the endgame content but still play the game, still learn the class a little bit at level 50 obviously, maybe a little bit of a tutorial which is actually in the retail game, so maybe something like that might have to be introduced in order for people to pick up their classes, but let's be honest, the classes in Classic WoW are pretty straightforward and simple anyway. A system like that would stop the server, in my opinion, from totally dying out, because if people are a little bit bored of playing in Burning Crusade, you know, they've done the raid content and there's not a lot to do, they don't really want to make an ult because they don't have the time for it, they can mess about a little bit on a capped level 60 realm, because you can instantly make a level 50, level of that character up, or maybe even level 60, and just mess around with some battlegrounds and do some raids and stuff like that. Obviously the idea of having a instant level 50 or 60 totally kind of ruins the classic WoW experience, and I do understand that, but at the end of the day, these servers, they aren't the most important part of the game. At the end of the day, they are just probably, if they ever do exist, they are just going to be there to satisfy a more niche and minority part of the World of Warcraft audience that doesn't want to progress into the Burning Crusade and wants to keep their character. So it isn't actually going to be detrimental and absolute sacrilege and heresy to introduce a more tournament system to this server, because I think at the end of the day, a tournament system would stop these servers from becoming an apocalyptic wasteland. And obviously you will not be killing the Classic WoW experience by having a instant level 650 or 60, because they could easily release fresh Classic WoW servers instead. I think that's another good option that a lot of people would want. I think they should probably release when the Burning Crusade and Shadowlands have a kind of like a massive content drought where there's not a lot going on in either of those states of the game, where people would actually they would have a lot on and they'd be bored, and if a fresh Classic WoW server would launch, it would be fun to play that again, because a lot of people do actually only play Classic WoW for the first 2 weeks, because in my opinion, I think the first 2 weeks of Classic WoW launch, or any of the private server launches I've played on, has been the best part of actually playing on a Classic WoW server, because it's just a totally unique experience the first 2 weeks of the launch of an MMO, which you obviously cannot replicate over and over again. It only happens once every blue moon, and I would definitely play it just for the first couple of weeks to experience that and do a few Deadmine runs and have a laugh. You only have to look at every single private server, vanilla server launch since for the past 5 years, since the dawn of Nestarius. and Elysium, Lights Hope, whatever. All these servers have launched fresh vanilla servers, and each and every single launch has been absolutely decked out with players. But some of these servers have had over 10,000 people playing them at launch, which has been absolutely insane, to the point where you can't even move around. So there is a massive demand for people to play fresh servers. Like, a lot of these servers even had they had the fresh server launching, but they had the old server as well, which might not even have been at the last tier of content. The point I'm trying to make is people would literally abandon their level 60 characters just to play on a fresh vanilla server, because everyone just really gobbles up that fresh server experience. Everyone's absolutely obsessed with it. We have to also look at Endless WoW, fresh TBC server. People would rather play that than play an older server. Everyone is really obsessed with playing the a fresh server. So to summarize, I think people should be given the option to transfer the character onto a permanent level 60 realm, and possibly turn that realm into more of a tournament realm where you get instant 60 at level 50, or an XP boost or something like that with free skills, just to make it a little bit of a more fun tournament realm where you can mess about doing battlegrounds and doing raids from time to time, all that kind of thing. And then I think also they should release fresh classic WoW servers, obviously a smaller amount of servers that release with classic WoW, for people who want the fresh experience and people who just want to play the classic WoW over it again. And there may even be people who have only just recently been introduced into WoW, but there's new players who are playing World of Warcraft every day who are picking up the game. People may just be like, well, I think rather than playing that Shadowlands, I didn't really like that, I might wait for that classic WoW launch. There is demand for fresh classic WoW servers, basically, because so many people have played on these servers over and over again. I know people who have played a vanilla server start to finish multiple times, and they're not bored of it somehow. So, and fair enough to them. But anyway, that is where I'm going to end the video. So my name is Menagoblin. Until my next video, ciao.